Consistency is very paramount if you really want to build a strong and cohesive branding.
When you hear storytelling, what immediately comes to your mind?
The world of B2B marketing has somehow adopted that belief people want to see dull content. But that's really far from the truth.
Welcome to the Supercharge Marketing Podcast. I'm Pius, the VP of Growth at Lumen 5, an AI video creator made by marketers for marketers. This podcast is a rally call for those who believe in purposeful content, brand storytelling, and thought leadership. We feature insights and best practices from forward-thinking marketers and B2B leaders, daring you to stand out in the rapidly evolving world around us. Are you ready to supercharge your marketing? Hi, everyone. I'm very, very, very excited for today's episode of Supercharge Marketing. Today, I'm joined by our very own Joel Alcala, Creative Director at Lumen 5. For the past 2 years, Joel has led our creative services and art direction teams operating as an in-house creative agency, which is awesome, both for us internally and for the benefit of our customers. So Joel's teams manage both internal projects, stuff like supporting our sales and marketing teams and creating amazing looking content, as well as supporting our external customers, creating custom templates, video brand guidelines, and providing strategic design consulting. So prior to joining Lumen 5, Joel was the creative director for Dubai Media Incorporated, responsible for the brand strategies and digital design solutions for Dubai Media. He's also held the creative director role across multiple organizations and agencies over the past 20 years. So I'm gonna toot his horn a little bit here. He's a bit of a big deal in the creative agency. He's won the Promax Award in 2019, which is the world's premier celebration of outstanding achievement in entertainment marketing and design. Before that, he's also won gold in the Pan Arab Web Awards, the Stevie Awards, and the Creativity International Awards for Best in Creativity and Best in Direct Marketing Campaigns. And the list goes on. Just an amazing range of creative experiences and accolades across so many industries, Joel. Wow. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself first, your journey in creative and how you ended up here working with us at Lumen 5.
Thanks for having me, Pius. I'm excited to be here, and thank you for that really great introduction. I'd love to tell you and our listeners a little bit about my work experience. My creative journey has been quite a ride, lasting over 2 decades and taking me to 3 different countries. I know it sounds a long time, Pius, so let's not even get into my age, all right? That can be our little secret, now making things more interesting for our viewers. Anyway, I kicked off my career as an art director in Manila for Harrison Communications, which is part of the McCann World Group. So looking back, I was really lucky that time because I had this incredible opportunity to be mentored by some of the best creatives in the Philippines. So I got to work with a lot of big brands and campaigns. So I couldn't have asked for a more perfect beginning into my creative career. So Manila kept me busy for a solid 8 years. Then I accepted a job offer in Dubai. I got to work for several branding and digital agencies there. During that time, websites and social media were just penetrating the market. So I really got into digital designs early and did a lot of websites and digital campaigns for brands. After spending 10 years in the advertising and branding industry, I made a big career change and transitioned to broadcast media. This is where I took on the role of creative director for Dubai Media, where I had this opportunity to manage the branding for several TV channels and created a lot of TV show openers. I think it was an incredible experience because I got to do a lot of 3D and motion graphics animation. I suppose this love for video storytelling is what ultimately led me to join Lumen 5, and now here I am, leading our creative services team.
Here you are. No, that's amazing, Joel. What a journey across the world and across so many different places, and just the experiences alone would have been amazing to be a part of. And really today, I'm really excited to feature you and speak about how you and your team help support our customers shine through your support in the video creation process. But first, I really want to kind of dive into your brain and mental models and kind of expose some of your creative mindset and vision around what's made you so successful in the past, and then kind of lead into how you manage the creative process for Lumen 5. Now, I've worked with you for a couple of years now, and we have such great conversations around storytelling and how great storytelling can really draw in and engage an audience, and how video can really bring that to life. So maybe let's kick off with what, would love for you to share your take on storytelling and video.
I'd love to tackle that, Pius, but I also have a question for you first. When you hear storytelling, what immediately comes to your mind?
Storytelling. What immediately comes to mind is something interesting, something engaging, and something that ties me into a world that I might not previously have any experience or any knowledge about.
All right. That's great. And you're absolutely right. It's engaging. So in my view as well, storytelling is an engaging and powerful way to communicate and transforms information into something relatable to us, humans, human perspective or experience. So let me expand on that in a business setting. So storytelling serves as a means to easier connect with your customers on deeper level. So rather than bombarding them with facts and figures, businesses can convey their value proposition to their customers, presenting stories to make it more engaging and relatable. Now, using videos as your medium amplifies the impact of storytelling into a higher level. And it's definitely one way of engaging than your average sales pitch, right? So brands right now, I think, needs to be more innovative to capture their target's attention and keep up with the noise out there. We know that it's a crowded market. And one way to do this is by incorporating video storytelling into the buying process. I guess to make this even more clearer, your marketing videos will stand out more to customers if you can address their pain points, even their challenges, their aspirations. I think by doing this, you create an emotional connection that has a big effect on their buying decisions. And you can only do this by telling good stories. And despite what most people think, Pius, video storytelling is not limited to marketing to consumers. I think it has a huge potential for B2B marketing as well. However, it's kind of disappointing to see that a lot of B2B companies aren't taking advantage of effective storytelling.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack there, but really caught my ears was when you talked about emotional connection. And I think that emotional connection is so hard to do when we're not telling stories, or when there's no visuals or audio or anything that kind of connects everything together. And, in your experience as a visual and video storyteller, as in your experience as a head of agencies, what do a lot of companies do wrong, and how can they switch, and how can they do it right?
Yeah, a great question. There's always been a debate, even before in advertising, but now especially in this is the business, and whether it's better to be clear or clever. So I guess this is more about being straightforward or being more creative. So some people think it's important to prioritize clarity by giving information in a simple and direct way. Now, I have nothing against that, but others think cleverness is always the key to selling. Telling an engaging story to make it more interesting can really make videos more powerful and grabbing the attention of your viewers. Now, my take here is that it's important to find the right mix between being clear and being clever, between clarity and creativity in marketing. So I want to explain this a little bit more in the context of video creation. So for instance, in situations where the prospect is probably on the verge of making a purchasing decision or has already bought a product, I guess it becomes more important to provide clarity when communicating the features and benefits. So videos such as how-tos or instructional guides or tutorials even, specifically focus on showcasing the product's instructions or features. I guess it can be more effective to have it more straightforward because you can present the information clearly. Well, on the flip side of that, I also believe that using clever videos or more creative videos in storytelling is important for establishing a faster connection and leaving a lasting impression to the viewers during the initial stages of the sales process. So you see here the brand videos, the explainers, customer testimonials are some of the videos that can really benefit from clever storytelling. So depending on the buyer situation, I guess, you can choose more with emotive or more of a cut and dry approach, or probably a combination of both. But I guess whatever you decide, it needs to be interesting to watch. For me, there's no middle ground for boring videos.
Every state of the journey. Yeah, that's actually a really good point that you bring up. And now more and more we're obviously seeing this content led marketing buyer's journey, and where marketing creates that content that attracts the buyer through the whole cycle. And we're not, marketing is not just using content to attract folks into that buying cycle and then letting sales do the rest of the job. They have to educate customers along the different journey points. And I think that's where your point of bringing clarity into the journey is so important now. The creativity can draw people into your brand and what you actually do, but the clarity at the later stages definitely needs to explain how you can solve their problems, how your product or solution can solve their pains and whatnot. And all of that is done through storytelling and can be done through video as well.
That's right, Pies. And I've observed that there's always a misconception that only B2C videos or, only selling glamorous products can be interesting. The world of B2B marketing has somehow adopted that belief that people want to see dull content. But that's really far from the truth, to be honest. No matter what you're promoting, people are dedicating their time to watch your content, right? I mean, just because you're not seeing flashy sneakers doesn't mean people are content with being bored. Nobody likes wasting their time. So even though audiences doesn't like to be bored, we often think it's acceptable to produce boring content because it's considered professional. So being professional doesn't mean you have to be boring, right? Being professional doesn't mean you have to go out on all seriousness and being lifeless with your concepts and ideas. Hundreds of products are in an aisle trying to compete and grab your attention. And your brand isn't really going to stand out just by talking about your latest features or what 50 other competitors are also saying the same exact thing. And then I remember the saying from Zig Ziglar saying that people buy on emotion and justify on logic. So even though B2B companies sell to other businesses, those businesses are made up of people, and the decision makers are people. You have the opportunity to connect with these decision makers on a personal level. So my suggestion is really start tapping into those emotions by storytelling, so you can hear them say, well, now you got my attention, go on, tell me more.
Yeah, I love that. And I think in the past, the past isn't even that far away, far behind us, I mean, where a lot of B2B and big enterprise companies used video, and these videos were agency created, and you know this best, where they're expensive, they're high budget, and they use that to attract people into the buying cycle. And then after that, they feed them this 50-page white paper, right, with a lot of educational content. And that's where that clarity comes in that you mentioned earlier, that clarity into the problems that we're trying to solve. But a lot of that was text, and it was boring in a lot of ways. And fast forward to today, where companies are still using some of the high quality video and the high production video to attract people into their buying cycle. But now, along the journey, they should educate with more entertaining content. They can educate through video and just better content that keeps people engaged throughout the entire buyer's journey. So that's an amazing point you bring up, and yeah, that's a very good point. Now, I've heard you say so many times in so many meetings that storytelling is key to branding, and when they do stories wrong, they can also easily misrepresent their brand. And how do companies do that wrong? And how can companies easily misrepresent their brand by telling the wrong stories?
Uh, I know you're familiar with Simon Sinek's Golden Circle and the idea of asking why for your brand. So when you integrate storytelling into the why process, it becomes a really powerful method to convey the brand's value and experiences. So this approach helps establish trust and loyalty to your audience. And we see this in the most successful brands, right? Successful brands always start with their why. And consumers want to know why they should care about your brand and why they should choose it over others. What is the reason I need to choose your brand? And These successful brands understand that storytelling in their video really showcases their purpose, and they can successfully trigger all those positive emotions through storytelling, and they can attract and form stronger emotional connections to their audience that shares similar values and beliefs. So, however, I think that creating that connection is still not enough for a successful marketing video. I guess to leverage the power of video storytelling for a brand, you need to use what we call identifiers or branding elements. These identifiers plays a very important role in reinforcing the brand's identity and facilitating recognition each time. This is really important to complement your storytelling because consistency is very paramount if you really want to build a strong and cohesive branding. And once these identifiers are consistently applied each time you create a video, this is the time that it will really start working to create an identity that eventually becomes synonymous with the brand itself.
Right. Everything ties in together. Every little kind of movement, every music, every transition, all of that really ties in together to your brand and what people recognize you for.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, you touched a little bit about the custom templates and I guess some of the different transition pieces. And that's exactly what Lumen 5 is here for now, to help B2B content writers and marketers become visually adept brand storytellers while juggling so much more on their plates. How do you see your team functioning within B2B SaaS at Lumen 5?
Well, the creative services is a bunch of talented storytellers. So we got a really diverse group that has art directors, motion graphic animators, and since we are a SaaS company, part of our role is to actively contribute to the development of our product and features, and working closely with our product team. We also take lead in producing our in-house promo and product feature launches. But I guess the biggest role for our team is in designing and developing this awesome video templates for Lumen 5. We put a real big chunk of our efforts into making sure those templates look great and user-friendly for our customers. And for our enterprise users, we also create these custom branded templates that perfectly match their brand style and requirements. Our enterprise customers have really specific needs when it comes to video creation, and maintaining branding consistency is high up in their priority, and that can be quite a challenge without the right support. Our customized templates make sure that our customers can create videos each time and aligns with their brand. This really saves them a lot of time and effort in scaling their videos.
Yeah, and a lot of what we hear from customers is that simply changing the colors or adding a logo to a template isn't really that on brand, and it's not the kind of value that we provide. Maybe you can kind of explain. You speak with a lot of customers, and in your experience, what do customers typically ask you when customers first hop on a pre-sales call? I'm sure some of our prospects or customers listening now are curious to what other customers typically ask.
Yeah, great question. Well, our customers have a genuine curiosity about our custom template process and its alignment with their branding guidelines. This is not surprising at all because considering the significant time and effort our enterprise customers invest in building their brand, it's really something that they consider very important if what we're doing aligns exactly to how they perceive their brand. So we take this seriously and also invest considerable amount of time studying their brand and researching existing materials to fully understand how they apply it. So when our clients share their brand guidelines, it becomes evidently clear what is their vision for their brand. And I can see the meticulous detail and the effort that they really invest. into building their brand. And our creative services team, takes all of this information and works closely with our clients to develop their custom brand templates tailored specifically for their needs. And we understand that each of our customers has its unique approach to branding. So the creative services work to ensure that our custom brand templates also reflect this uniqueness while still following the core principles of their branding guidelines. You can say that each of our custom templates is uniquely created each of our customers. No custom template is the same. And this collaborative approach often leads to our clients to view as an extension of their creative team, particularly for our expertise in video branding. And this is really great, Pies, because I believe in retaining the human element of creativity and design is super important, especially in today's market where everything is commoditized. I think that combining the human creativity with our technology allows us to create a really unique product in the market for our customers. And once our customers receive their one-of-a-kind template, it becomes really clear that no prior experience is necessary to create well-branded videos. They're really happy and surprised that all of those structures and guardrails that we've implemented inside Lumen 5 really does make things easier for them to scale up and create on-brand videos at any time at all. So this is what truly satisfies our customers.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's really that double whammy that Lumen 5 has, where our product itself is easy to use, it's intuitive, it allows marketers and other content creators to be able to become adept storytellers. And then with your team coming in to design this custom template specifically towards the customer's needs, they get the best of both worlds, where they get this custom template that's specifically created just for them with their guidelines, their transitions, their colors, their fonts, their everything. And so anybody, like even myself, who's not very good at storytelling or creating videos, can go in there and create this on-brand video with a template that you've created for us and for our customers as well. Where do you see that value coming in from, not just in terms of the custom template, but from the services and the strategic consulting that you and your team offer as well?
I think that the value that we are actually creating right now is to bring more consistency when it comes to their branding in the video creation realm. And if we will try to explain it in branding terms, I would probably go towards brand a bit so that I can explain it better. So I know that it's a very fascinating subject, and I know that this episode is not enough to talk about branding. And however, I'll do my best to simplify and provide an overview of the value that branding brings to our customers. So if I will draw inspiration from the fathers of modern branding, like Martin Junger, he describes it as brand is a customer's gut feeling about the product, service, or company. And he said in his book, brand is not what you say it is, it's what they say it is. So coming from that idea, if I'll take my own spin to it, I would say that brand is the perception of your product or service. On the other hand, branding, which should not be confused with the meaning of brand, involves managing that perception. And I hope that's not too confusing. So if I will put it together, brand is the perception of your audience towards your product or service, and branding is the management of that perception. The value that we bring to our customers is that branding part. It's the management of that perception. To expand more on this is we actively process to shape and influence how their customers will perceive their brand by doing those custom templates that will adhere to all of their guidelines. And these visual cues will set their brand apart from other competitors, because each time that their video is being created, they would be they would be assured that it always have this meaningful impact on their customers, and it will always remain on brand and consistent. And this visual cues, identifiers, if we call them as such, like the brand logo, colors, typography, and other graphic elements, all of them plays a crucial role in branding. And these elements contribute to the brand's identity to help create a recognizable story. So circling back again to storytelling, these branding elements work all together to enhance the brand narrative of our clients. So making it more distinct, making it more identifiable to customers. So our creative service team really plays a significant role in bringing in this value of their brand whenever we develop our custom templates to our enterprise customers.
Yeah, that it always ties back to storytelling and having people within an enterprise company or having people within an organization be able to easily tell their story at any time, whatever that is, whether that's internal communications, external communications for different purposes when they're trying to reach buyers during a sales cycle in the beginning, middle, or end stages as well. And I think that's so important when you're trying to create all this content and you're needing to keep it on brand and you're needing to pump it out quickly as well and make use of your time and capacity. And I think when we're also talking about custom templates, not only do they give you the ability to tell good stories within that brand template that you have, but maybe you can kind of dive into some of the guardrails that we put in place and some of the structures that's in place and safeguards that, help marketers not go off brand and not tell a story that's not supposed to be told.
Right. Scaling videos has always been a challenging task for content creators, regardless of their level of expertise. Repurposing content can be a struggle. For example, imagine having to rescale and relay out videos while ensuring that all of their branding elements are in place. It can be a nightmare for content creators. And the situation becomes even more challenging when working with larger teams that are not in the same location, perhaps on the other side of the globe. So it can be almost impossible to keep track of whether everyone is producing videos that align with your branding. And, I still remember my experience from my previous company. We had to produce at least 10 videos each day for different social media channels. Wow. Yeah. We tried to create a template. Yeah. Even until now, I'm like reliving that nightmare, when we tried to create a template using traditional editing softwares. But it didn't work out so well because our content team are not designers or video editors. So there's a steep learning curve to get used to these softwares. So imagine that every time that we release a video, I was there anxiously hoping that, I hope that the team has used all the right branding elements as we instructed. And guess what? Most of the time, something goes off brand. So watermarks might be too big or too small, text might be too close or in the edge, colors are not used properly. All of this are really frustrating for the marketing content team. And then I think that this is where our brand templates really stands out. The customized framework in Lumen 5 sets guardrails to ensure that all elements behave as intended within a video context. So if you think about it, Pius, when you see a branding guidelines, I know that you've seen already the brand guidelines. What do you immediately think of when you see a brand guidelines?
When I think of brand guidelines, I immediately think of spacing. I think of, like your point, the size of
Right.
the context, or sorry, the size of the elements, how they merge together. I think of brand guidelines is something that we need to stick within, that allows our marketing team to tell that story for people to easily recognize us, right? If we're looking at some B2C companies, if their logo was a little off, immediately you think, that's a fake version of that, right? But it's the same with B2B and the same with enterprise. If you're used to a certain type of branding and something is off with it, you kind of, you doubt it. You don't think it's real.
That's right.
I think that's where brand guidelines comes into play.
In connection to this, I I came across this book uh, from Greg Hoffman's Emotion by Design. There's a part there that really caught my attention, and I think that it really describes what we're doing in Lumen 5. He uses this very interesting analogy that compares branding and stories to a picture and its frame. So the frame refers to a brand's identifiers, the elements of branding, logo, colors, fonts, and everything should all be strong and identifiable, while the picture, which is inside that frame, refers to the stories a brand wants to tell. The stronger that frame is, the more powerful the stories become. And that really makes sense, because creating a strong brand foundation is the stage for really good storytelling of a brand, but not to let the frame overshadow the picture within it. Branding should complement and enhance the story by maintaining a consistent and recognizable identity, not overshadow the story. So I envision the same thing with our custom templates as that frame that enables our users to tell their stories better and easier and more effective within the Lumen 5 platform.
Well, thank you so much, Joel. This has been a great chat to talk about all things creative. And I know you and I have amazing conversations. So it's always nice to bring that out to the forefront. I know this will not be the last time that we have you on kind of talking about our creative services and our creative team and whatnot. Where can our audience find you?
Well, I have an Instagram account, or tag28 Instagram. You can see my works there, some graphic designs, some animations there. And yeah, just message me if you want something creatively collaborated.
Amazing. Hey, listeners, we always want to keep our episodes short and impactful, and we hope you found value in what you heard today, as that is our goal, is to connect you with the industry leaders with expertise to share so we can all grow together. As always, keep making purposeful content in this B2B world, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, hit subscribe and rate us wherever you listen to your podcast, or leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube. If video is not already part of your marketing content strategy, it's not too late to start. Create amazing videos with Lumen 5's AI-powered video creator without the need for any design or video editing experience. Check us out at lumen5.com to supercharge your marketing, or follow us on LinkedIn for updates and resources. As always, keep making purposeful content in this B2B world. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.